Was there a chance that deal wasn't happening, or what do you think was going on there?
Well, I think there was a lot of back and forth between these two sides. And let's keep in mind, and I want to get this straight here, that when Aiden Hutchinson went down, conversation started right away between the Browns and the Lions. The Browns reached out about exploring a trade, and the two sides went back and forth here for weeks. And at various points, it felt like it might not happen. But that is the case on a lot of these trades, right? Like, you hear that it's off, and then boom, it's on. Or you hear it's on, and then it's off. Like, there are a lot of factors that go into each of these moves all the time. But in this particular case with Za'Darius Smith, the two sides had been talking for weeks, and that was a guy that the Lions wanted. He's familiar with the NFC North. He's been to 3 Pro Bowls. He could help be a force while Aiden Hutchinson is out. And look, the Lions have played as well as any team in football. They are a monster. So when you are this close to achieving the lifelong goal of fans in your area, why would you not be willing to swap out some late-round draft picks to get Za'Darius Smith? And that's what they did. They found a common ground. And I think when Za'Darius tweeted that this morning, I think there was some uncertainty. I know there was uncertainty last night about whether it would get done, and then it flipped this morning. It does get done. And honestly, that's the way it should have been. It should have been that way all along. The Browns have 2 wins. The Lions are going for a Super Bowl. Get the trade done. Figure it out.
Yeah, SMH, send me home.
Yeah.
That is what he was saying. He wasn't shaking his head. He was saying, send me home to the NFC North. Congrats to the Lions getting a dog and Za'Darius having a new home. You talk about late-round draft picks for the trade. How about mid-round draft picks happening down in Dallas? Everybody's saying Jerry hasn't made a good decision in decades. This is another overpay situation for Jonathan Mingo. He's only in his 2nd year of his contract, though, so we got years left in his rookie deal. What do you think made this decision come to fruition, and how did we get to this point? And is there any other wide receivers from the Carolina Panthers that are getting traded?
Yeah. Okay, well, in regards to Mingo, this is a guy that the Cowboys really liked coming out of the draft. And I think you touched on a key factor. They liked him in the draft, and he's got 2 years left on his rookie deal. So when you have that kind of contractual control, it becomes rather attractive, right? Because if you look at it, the Cowboys get Mingo in a 7th from the Panthers for a 4th. Can you see me, Pat?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. The Cowboys get Mingo in a 7th from the Panthers for a 4th. But compare and contrast that, right? The Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins from the Titans for a conditional 5th. The Ravens got Deontay Johnson and a 6th for a 5th. Amari Cooper and a 6th from the Browns for a 3rd and a 7th. And the Jets got Devontae Adams for a conditional 3rd. So the Cowboys are paying in that range, but I think they did so because, number one, they like the player. And number 2, he's on his rookie contract, so you get the deal.
He was a 2nd rounder last year, Jerry said. He's a 4th rounder this year. I don't see what the math here. I don't know what's math. And now, obviously, that's a future thing. Now, there's a team that has allegedly been linked to another Carolina Panther wide receiver. We didn't even know Mingo was available potentially. But now that we know that, is Adam Thielen still available, or are they going to have no wide receivers on that football team? Because allegedly, he was going to the Steelers, is what I had heard.
Well, I think that the Steelers would have some level of interest, but again, the compensation has to be right. And so far, the two sides have been unable to bridge any differences there. And we now have 3 hours and 44 minutes left for the two sides to figure it out, to see if they could. I was told this morning, I doubt it. Now, let me say this on that particular trade. I doubt it. Nothing's ever final on trade deadline day. Again, I've heard doubt it. I've heard it's off. Like last night, I was told the Za'Darius Smith thing, that the Browns and Lions were struggling to make it happen, didn't know it was going to happen. And then, boom, we wake up and the two sides figure it out. Okay. Again, I think that if you're the Carolina Panthers, you got a 34-year-old wide receiver, and you are where you are, and he's not going to be there next year, why not trade him? And the reason they wouldn't is because, number one, he's a good player. Number two, he's a great guy to have around your young wide receivers, Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker. You want them to see how a pro handles himself. And so I think that they see some value in that. But realistically, should they trade Adam Thielen? In my mind, yes. I mean, yes. Would Pittsburgh like to have Adam Thielen? Pittsburgh's looking to add a wide receiver. Thielen makes as much sense as anybody. So, again, as of a couple hours ago, two sides not close on compensation. We'll see if anything changes here in the last 3.5 hours.
Okay, so if not Adam Thielen, Darius Slayton, and Mike Williams, then you think the Steelers are interested? Like, Steelers are very much interested in a wide receiver, like they were with Brandon Ayuk, like they were and have been linked to a couple different times. We can assume that the Pittsburgh Steelers are snooping around right now. Omar, the con artist, is snooping around to try to find a wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers with 3 hours, 41 minutes, and 36 seconds left until trade deadline.
Well, Pat, they've been calling around on receivers since training camp. So this is, if you're going to trade for one, this is your final call. Last call to trade for a wide receiver right now.
Last call.
3 hours and 42 minutes, right? Like, that's what we got. And they've been trying to get a trade done since this summer. Look, there was Brandon Ayuk at some point this summer. There was conversations with Jacksonville about Christian Kirk. And that was in the process of happening until he broke his collarbone and then couldn't get done. And so they're calling on these guys. The question is, what is the value? What are they prepared to give up? Does the guy fit into their system? I have thought all along that they would find a way to get a wide receiver, especially with the Steelers playing as well as they are. They're in a great spot. They're ahead of schedule. They are in a position that I think, I don't know, I mean, did Tone expect them to be in this spot today, competing for the division, a force in the AFC? Did he expect this much? You tell me.
To be winning the division, no. They're always in the division, but no, not to be ahead of the Ravens and Bengals, and no.
Well, and also for the offense to look fun.
Yeah,
like it is like fun.
Baller.
And Russell throws the ball, so adding a wide receiver would make sense at this point, as opposed to maybe another 310-pound tight end that can block a little bit alongside Muth and Darnell. It's like our weapon is needed down there as the sun shines on senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter. Adam, you got a text in the middle of that. Is there any trades that are being made or being announced? And how boring is this afternoon going to be? Should we be?
No, but I would just say, I mean, I don't think it's a secret. The name to watch this afternoon, would be Marshawn Lattimore. That's the one to watch here in the next 3.5 hours.
Go ahead, D-Bud.
Shefty, any what potential partners? I know you just got a text. They're Commanders. I know Ravens could use some help on the back end. Who can afford them? Who will make that move for Marshawn?
Well, you said the Commanders. You said the Ravens. The Chiefs have been linked. I've heard the Chargers out there. I think there are about 4 potential bidders. And here's my takeaway on all this, right? The Saints fired their head coach yesterday. They've got to basically address their salary cap issues. They've got a cornerback who obviously is in demand. They're going to need more draft picks. And so if you're the Saints right now and you can get somebody to pay your price for Marshawn Lattimore, a 4-time Pro Bowl cornerback, why would you not entertain that?
What is that, a third? Is that a third rounder?
I think it's at least that, Pat, but that you're going to be right in the ballpark.
Okay, sounds like a deal's maybe already done.
Wow.
Is the deal close? How close is the deal done?
No. What I'm saying is I think there are active talks to get something done. And, again, I don't think you go down this road at this point and then not get something done. That's my opinion, right? If they're this far advanced in talks with this many people and there's this much interest, usually the teams move ahead and act. They don't say, you know what? Thank you, everybody, for being on the phone with us all day and coming up with these. We're going to hold on. We decided to hold on to the guy. If you're opening up the talks and taking bids and in discussions, usually you finish it off. All right. We will stay glued to your Twitter account as trade deadline day rolls on.